Welcome to this special edition of Good Faith Weekly. We've got two very special guests with us this week. Reverend Travis Norvell is the pastor of Judson Memorial Baptist Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and an adjunct faculty member at the United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities. He has served as an American Baptist pastor for 22 years in both small towns and urban churches. He is passionate about the social gospel in the local church as the link for both social justice and church renewal. Lori is a graduate of Alderson Broaddus University. She taught math and food and customer science before shifting to politics when she was elected to the Minneapolis School Board. Director Norvell is currently in her final year of a 4-year term. She is a mother, wife, friend, neighbor, community activist, and creator of warmth and joy. Travis added that at the end, I do believe. But Travis, Lori, welcome to Good Faith Weekly. We thank you for taking time. We know things are very hectic there in Minneapolis, but we really appreciate you taking time to talk to us.
No, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, happy to share.
So before we get into some more pointed questions, we just really do want to ask, how are you two doing?
You want to go first?
Yeah, well, honestly, we're exhausted, frazzled, and I don't know, hopeful at the same time, as crazy as that sounds.
Right.
But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, the same. It's everyone here is losing sleep. Everyone's looking over their shoulder, double checking intersections, looking in vehicles that are, have heavily tinted windows. Like we're all hyper vigilant, and I don't think you realize like what you just don't realize what a toll that takes on you, and it is exhausting, and we're not even targeted.
Right.
We have a lot of privilege, so I can't imagine what our Black and brown neighbors are feeling.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're consuming all of the anxiety that your community is experiencing right now. And one of the things that I've really appreciated over the last week has been your social media presence. You have been informing your followers. That's where we're getting a lot of great information on your socials. But when you do that, it does just take it out of you. So I'm certain that you're both exhausted, but all of us outside of Minneapolis really appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. So Travis, I want to turn to you because, obviously we're here because of what is currently happening in Minneapolis. As a result of the murder of Robin Good last week. Renee Good last week. But before that shoot, this wasn't an isolated incident that happened in a vacuum. There has been a huge lead up to that moment. So prior to that shooting last week, tell us what the atmosphere was like in Minneapolis before last week and the altercation that brought all of this about currently.
Yeah, today's a week exactly,
Right.
when we're filming. Man, it feels like a year, up to that time, we knew that ICE had been here before, several weeks prior, and there had been, there were major raids, but they weren't anything like this, there's just a few hundred agents. But even before that, the communities have been training. There's a local organization that, instead of doing bystander training, they call it upstander training.
Mm-hmm.
And the churches, people have just been going to these honestly by the thousands. We got a call on a Tuesday, said, can we use the church basement for a training? We're going to have 100 people. And we said, sure. And then the training was on Thursday night, and there were 300 people, in our fellowship hall, from all over. So, there was just this kind of vigilance of trying to get prepared for this. That was part of it. But also just in South Minneapolis, you all have been to South Minneapolis. It's a great place.
Right.
But man, it's also just been it's been the scene of a lot of pain. We go back to the murder of George Floyd. The Annunciation shooting is in South Minneapolis. There was just already the community was already holding a lot of pain, and trying to start some positive things, starting to kind of. I feel like we're just starting to really come back from a lot of that,
Right.
and then in the back of our minds, we all knew this was coming, right? You could tell that there was this ice buildup. You knew that there was retribution coming against Minneapolis and Minnesota, from a political standpoint, but still, you're like, it's going to be bad, but it's not. Is it going to be this bad?
Mhm.
Right.
Uh, and then then this happened, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Lori, as a community leader and community activist, I mean, as Travis said, the death of George Floyd was not that long ago, and you all, as a community, had to, work through that and, come to some really hard decisions moving forward as a community. But here we are again now. The federal government is exercising this type of violence and ramping it up. It appears. Did you ever think that you, as a community, would have, as a community leader, have to prepare and safeguard yourselves from your own government?
No, and you know, I think one of the hardest parts is we're trying to protect our kids at school. When I say our kids, I mean all of our community kids,
Mhm.
not our personal children. And so they're all our kids. And we had to close schools for 2 days last week to protect our children from the federal government. You know,
Let that
they
sink in. That just
Right,
astounding.
right. They descended upon a high school that's about a mile from here. It's in my district, and it is our most diverse high school in the city. Um, Maybe 20 different countries represented at this school, and they descended upon this school right after dismissal time to apprehend staff. They tear gassed and pepper sprayed students, high school students,
Hmm.
you know, and the videos of it are just they're heartbreaking to see these kids being sprayed with chemical irritants to disperse a crowd. Um,
At close range.
at close range,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely, at close range. And it is, it's just unfathomable to think about how we're struggling to try to protect our kids so they can go to school. So since that time, we have Minneapolis Public Schools has worked with the teachers union to come up with a an e-learning or distance learning plan. And because of state law, we can't just call e-learning or distance learning for everyone. The only reason we could do that during COVID was because the governor had said we could, and because of the crisis then. But and we also learned that that's not always good for everybody too. So what we did was we offered an e-learning option, and about a fifth of our students have signed up for e-learning right now. That means that teachers and educators are having to, revamp their lesson plans, just like they did in COVID. But now some of them are having to shift gears and go into teaching virtually only. Some are having to try to teach in person and virtually at the same time, and still trying to meet the needs of these kids. And some of the, we don't know how we're going to get meals to them. A lot of our students rely on breakfast and lunch at school, but we can't make them come to school to pick it up. And we don't have ESSER money from the federal government, like we did in COVID.
Yeah.
So,
Golly.
Travis, you've also been posting about what you're seeing. You are famously known in our parts as the pedaling pastor. You ride your bike everywhere throughout Minneapolis, and so you've really been seeing on the sidewalk, on the streets, what is happening. So, could you share with our listeners some of what you're seeing in terms of, businesses or other community activism that's going on?
Oh yeah, I mean businesses are closed. If you're most immigrant-owned restaurants and businesses are boarded up, that's the first thing you see. Um, Most of the restaurants are operating on, maybe half the ones that are open, half capacity. Our son had to volunteer. I mean, he's a waiter at a local restaurant, and the back of house folks don't feel safe to come, so the waiters and waitresses or wait staff are being trained to be line cooks, just to take the place until it's safe for them to come back to work. Um, Anywhere on the street, like yesterday, I just kind of parked myself at a intersection and just wanted to see how many ICE agents I would see. I think I counted four within about 15 minutes,
Oh,
just right there. But what I also saw was three times as many community members that are following ICE agents. So people are just driving with their windows down. They have, their whistles around their necks. They also have a passenger who's got their cell phone out, communicating where ICE is traveling. And those people are hounding the ICE agents. They are tracking them. They are patrolling them. They are not letting them get away. Uh, right now, they're saying that the ICE will be here for 60 to 90 days. They don't really know the neighborhoods that well, so you can tell it's really easy to spot them. They don't know what they're doing. They're going the wrong way on one-way streets. They're driving erratic. They're, 60 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone right beside schools and kids. Um, it's nuts. It really is nuts. Yesterday when I was riding back home, um, it's all these cars with either it is like the giant SUVs that say ICE on them. That's one. And then there's the SUVs with highly tinted glass, and it's an ICE agent because who else is driving in tactical gear?
Right.
And Minnesota has two license plate fronts and back, and yet they only have one on the back, and then two cars behind them, you see the exact same license plate on the back of this car, in the same kind of setup. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And Lori, you know, uh, chills went down my spine when I got information, and you were the first to break it to me, at least, was when we got word right after Renee's death, at least a day or two, ICE was going door to door.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What was the reason for that?
I
And
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, just what was the reason for them doing that?
I think they were, I mean, the administration has been saying they're going to do that. And I think it was just, from my understanding, it sounds like it was an order that they were given. They're not just going door to door. There are instances now, credible instances now of them breaking down doors.
Yeah.
So, folks are being told that here's what a real warrant looks like. Here's
Mhm.
what the warrant from ICE looks like. You don't have to let them in. It doesn't seem to matter. Like there are no rules or laws at this point. They're doing what they want to do. They're busting out car windows. Yesterday, they apprehended a woman who identified herself as having autism and a disability. And there's a video on NPR, Minnesota Public Radio, of them apprehending her, and she's telling them, "I need an accommodation. I didn't understand you, and I'm just trying to get to my doctor." And they didn't care. They carried her away as though she was an animal.
Mm,
Four of them carrying her down the street and shoving her in the car.
yeah. And Travis, this is dear to my heart. You've got a large indigenous population there in
Yeah.
Minneapolis, and we're getting word that, indigenous citizens are being grabbed by ICE as well. Obviously, they're being mistaken for, uh, Hispanic descent. Are you getting any other words about that?
Well, I don't think it's that they're being mistaken. I mean,
Oh, okay.
they were at Little Earth Nation. I
Mhm.
mean, which is a native
Mhm.
community here in neighborhood in Minneapolis. You don't go to Little Earth Nation looking for Hispanic, and this is like the whole thing that was given to us that this is going to be about fraud within the Somali community. This is why all these agents are here. And I've never heard once that they're investigating fraud in any community. They're just out racially profiling um, their community members. There were four city workers, Minneapolis city workers, at the site of the murder a day after she was shot. Three were people of color, one was white. And ICE agents went up to the three people of color and asked for ID and to prove their citizenship, but didn't ask the white worker the same information. So I mean, it's just straight up racial profiling
Mm.
uh, of all peoples, that are look anything other than the two of us. Yeah,
Wow.
And now just add the American Indian
yeah,
organizations,
Mhm.
community organizations here are they are now getting word, or they have been getting word out to folks that they're providing tribal IDs so that folks have an additional ID to prove that they are citizens.
That's great. Yeah, ever since this is broke, months ago when ICE was ramping up starting out in LA and Chicago, um, I started carrying my passport with me here in the United States just to prove that I'm a U.S. citizen because obviously Native American, I've got brown skin, and
yeah,
I could
yeah.
be targeted at any moment, anytime.
Mhm.
What's what's crazy to me is there are so many things going on right now that we can be absolutely irate and heartbroken over. But I feel like this is the one issue, ICE and what they've been doing, that truly it's hard to that's happening over there, or that's policy. I don't This is impacting everyone. I haven't talked to anyone who doesn't know somebody, whether it's, oh, it's this restaurant down the street that we frequent, or, the person who does my hair, her husband was taken. I mean, it's impacting everyone. And I really felt like last week, um, when there was the tragic murder of Renee Good, that I'm like, okay, this has to be the moment. This has to be the moment where we know we can't, even if you have privilege like you guys do and we do, you can no longer take your kid to school with the assurance that you're going to be okay. I thought this would be the moment. And then no, I'm waking up to, information and posts from other people who are trying to villainize this woman. And how do you make it make sense? And then, Stephen Miller saying to all ICE officers, remember, you have immunity. You can do whatever you want to do.
Which is terrifying.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely terrified. And Homeland Security retweeted it today on X.
that's the thing, is Homeland Security's putting that. And I don't know what my question is in this comment. It's just how can we ever get to a point where people say this is not okay. It's not okay to treat anyone this way.
Yeah, right.
But we're at a point where, okay, this is all of us.
Yeah.
This isn't just another. You can't look away from it anymore.
But I mean, the two of you, I mean, you're boots on the ground. Are you seeing a groundswell coming up from the community, standing up to ICE and the federal government and say, no, not enough? And I would love to quote your mayor, but this is a PG show. But it seems
Well,
though the numbers are growing in the streets
yeah.
of Minneapolis, and the resistance is growing.
Yeah, I mean, like just at Lake and Lindale, which is not I know a lot of people don't know about the Lake and Lindale intersection, but we just watched on video that just to show you exactly, an ICE agent stops, they run out of the van to try to apprehend someone. And what I couldn't get over is just everybody stopped, everybody parked and got out of their cars and just ran to help. And I thought, okay, things are turning there. Target is based here in Minneapolis, and they say like we can't do anything. Uh, but our local hardware store had a giant display of goggles and whistles and face masks saying, be careful out there. And it sold out within 6 hours. They said, look, we'll have more, this week. But I'm just like, the local hardware store. Who thought that the local hardware store is where you go to, to gear up for the revolution? But
Yeah.
that's, that kind of case. And the people that are signing, like our signal chats, every neighborhood has a signal chat. It maxes at 900. Ours went from 300 to 900 within 3 days. And so we've got to start a new one. So, I mean, and that's just multiplying
Mm-hmm.
throughout the city. I mean, you're seeing the things of.
I mean, people are signing up to patrol,
Yeah.
formally and informally. And I would say everyone is patrolling, like
Yeah.
whether they're walking, biking, driving, whatever they are. There have been a lot of organizations offering support for people, picking up groceries and delivering them for folks who don't feel like they can go out. There's one organization in particular, it just started. Maybe it was about a year ago, and it was a couple of women started it they wanted to provide free weddings for same-sex couples before Trump did something,
Right,
to outlaw it or whatever, right? And so they pulled together all these resources. So they call themselves, I think they're the do-gooders of Minnesota or something. And but they have gotten so many donations. People reach out to them and say, I need formula, I need diapers, I need whatever. And they have gotten so many donations that they're like, I actually need help getting this out. So people are going they're out of their house. Their dining room is packed full. Last night she reported that like, I can't walk through my house. So now I need help. Please come take things and deliver them. So that's just one example. There are so many people doing things for neighbors, checking in on them. There's a signal chat just for folks that want to give safe rides to people. And then like Travis mentioned, the restaurants are trying to figure out ways that their immigrant workers can keep their jobs even if they don't feel safe coming in right now. So that's, they're trying to revamp and rethink how they're doing their service.
And, and I just want to let the audience know that when we were trying to schedule this interview, we worked around the times where you were doing neighborhood watch and walking the streets and making certain that your community was safe, from the federal government and ICE agents. So, I mean, you guys are doing the work. And so I just really, really want to call that out.
So I love hearing how the community is coming together. It's so, I don't know, gives me a little bit of hope. But for those of us who feel so helpless, we're sitting here watching it and not knowing what to do with our hands in this moment. Do you have anything to tell us as far as, actions we can take or ways in which we can support your community and others who are facing these direct invasions?
I will say there is an organization. I think it's a neighborhood organization, and they have a whole list of ways that folks who aren't here can either donate or support, most likely financially, because what's happening is like people can't, if they can't go to work or they can't get out to get their groceries. I think that's one way. I know there's a local grocery store that is putting together bags of groceries that they're right around the corner from that high school that was attacked. Teachers are going over and getting bags of groceries for students and sending them home. So like donations to places like that who are here in the city doing the work. And I can share that with you so you could share that with listeners.
And we'll put the link in this post.
Yeah, and I got one. It's like Stand with Minnesota that just came out today. A Google Doc. But I also want to just say, like, I don't want to discount. I don't want to discount like emails and text and prayers. One of the things that has been so moving is just the people reaching out. Like I didn't know that we now have friends in Rome that we didn't know we had, who are writing these amazing prayers, and I read them at the church council meeting last night, and everybody's crying, just in this. And so just the thought that, like the other people are with you is I can't tell you how much that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, I'm going to give you the opportunity for the last word. This is just really an agonizing moment for you and your community. We want you to know that there are so many out there in our audience and beyond that are thinking of you, that are sending good thoughts, good encouragement. And I don't mean that, on the surface level. We really want to support you. And so as a pastor, I'm going to ask you to put your pastor hat on. Give us something to cling to as we leave this interview today.
I think that it was one of the prayers that somebody that a woman wrote from Rome yesterday that just said, your faith is our faith, and your fight for justice is our fight for justice. I think we're all interconnected. So my hope is just that whatever your struggle is, that we are all in this together, that there is some hope in this, and that people are coming together to do amazing things. And the capacity for moral courage continues just to surprise me day after day in the people and the work that people are doing and the support that we're given.
Well, Travis and Lori, you are an inspiration to us and to the rest of the country. Thank you so much for taking time out today to speak with us. We are again rooting for you. We're standing with you. We hope that we can help in providing resources to you and your community because, listener, this could be your city at any moment, at any time.
Yeah.
And we can never forget that. And so let us draw our inspiration and solace from the good folks in Minneapolis because you're doing good work. Travis, Lori, thank you so much for joining us on Good Faith Weekly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.